Welcome via the Zoom line, Dean Marie Marshall, Deputy Director at the Counter-Trafficking Unit under the Ministry of Homeland Security. Dean Marie Marshall, good morning to you and welcome.
Good morning, Jason. Good morning to Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you for having me this morning.
You're welcome. Very important discussion ahead. I want you to establish to us what exactly is trafficking in persons. What exactly is human trafficking? When we hear that term, I've realized people come up with different definitions. What's the official definition for you under the umbrella of the Ministry of Homeland Security?
What is the definition that is enshrined in law? And that is the act, means, and purpose. The act, means, and purpose, the recruitment, the transport, the harboring, the movement of persons in and about Trinidad and Tobago. When I say in and about, and I mean internally, I also mean in and out in terms of externally. And this is done either by coercion, by force, by fraud, and it is done for a purpose, and that being exploitation, forced labor, domestic servitude, and the one that everybody tends to know, sexual exploitation. And that in itself, Jason, those are the components that must be present for a successful matter in trafficking in persons.
What role can the public play in giving assistance to law enforcement and the ministry and all those who are on the front line to treat with this in real time?
I mean, it's basic communication and letting us know. It is a fact that the law enforcement cannot be everywhere, and in small pockets and communities that this type of activity is happening. That is very present in our last operation in Purple Rain, where this situation, where this circumstance was happening inside of Rio Claro, is only because we were able to get some level of intelligence, that being from Interpol, and that's the strangest thing, our intelligence came from external, but we were able to really find that location and of course, do the necessary. And it's only after we are getting calls about thanking us about erasing that type of activity from the community. But we want the Trinidad and Tobago to know that we are here to do the work. And you can call us at 800-4CTU, and we will do what is necessary to erase those kinds of impediments in your communities.
Well, yes, I remember the story out of Rio Claro. There was also one in Cunupia with about 47 Latina ladies who, were questioned. From what I understand, based on the news cycle, they said that there was, based on what I saw in the news cycle, they said there was no trafficking scenario there based on the screening process. How does one determine what's trafficking and what's just, I guess, probably I don't even know how to describe it really. How do you all do your screening, and what's the distinction between trafficking and what is not trafficking?
So, Jason, the screening process is something that is not common just to Trinidad and Tobago. It's something that is international standard. We were taught that back in 2010 and 2011, when the International Organization for Migration was actually educating law enforcement about what was trafficking in persons. And what it really enshrines is basically as what I described earlier, being able to ascertain via a rapid interview if this person exhibited any one of these ingredients to constitute the offense. Now, what is important is that we are not saying that any particular offense did not happen at Marshall Trace in Cunupia, but we are saying, based on the screening process, the offense of trafficking in persons was not present in any of the persons interviewed. So it is really determining of what can really meet the requirements under the covering of the law.
Yeah, I guess if you're there under your own accord, you're just there, as opposed to if you're forcibly there. I guess that's probably the distinction.
And definitely, definitely. If I say, for instance, in a screening, a person indicated to me that I came to Trinidad and Tobago to perform in prostitution. I paid my way, I pay a rent here at another location location and I come to this location to prostitute, that in itself does not constitute the offense of trafficking in persons, because I need to be able to ensure that 3 components for adults, and in the cases of children, I just need 2 components for the law to be satisfied in relation to trafficking in persons.
Tell me about the Counter-Trafficking Unit and its wider role. What powers are you all given under the Ministry of Homeland Security?
Well, we are the government of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago's response to trafficking in persons. And because that is the case, we are a multi-dimensional unit. So enshrined in the unit, and that is covered in legislation. So the law says that we would have authorized officers, and those officers come from different umbrellas of law enforcement, Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force, the Immigration Division. We also have a social worker from the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, Victim and Witness Support Unit. And of course, we have some officers who are focused on victim care. The unit really stands on a 4P platform: protection, ensuring the protection of victims when we get them in terms of food, shelter, psychosocial assistance, medical. So we are really vested with that responsibility once a person is deemed a victim. And then we move to prevention. Public awareness. This engagement which you hear this morning, Jason, is a tick in the box for public awareness and prevention. Partnerships. The unit cannot operate on its own. It's important that we have a whole of society, whole of government approach to how we really treat with trafficking in persons. So my relationship with Trinidad and Tobago Police Service will be never ending. They cannot get rid of me. So as the Defense Force, so as the Immigration Division, and so many other institutions, even the prison service at times, because when I need some assistance with communications, I go to them. It's a whole of government approach. We also get assistance in the Ministry of Social Development in terms of social workers in the past. So I am saying to you that this is a Trinidad and Tobago responsibility, and Trinidad and Tobago is doing what is necessary to ensure that this is no more in our communities.
No, well done, Dina Marie.
And then yes.
Yeah, I mean, all hands on deck, because the reality is we can't operate in silos. There must be that collaboration. So I'm happy to hear that you said immigration alongside police, defense force, coast guard. I mean, everyone needs to be on the same page, because when we operate in silos, people will go through the cracks.
And that is it. Remember, most victims suffer in silence, suffer in silos. And this is the CTU has been doing some significant work in public awareness. We have been going in our schools. At this time, I would like persons to like and share our social media and get on it. You'll be able to see what type of work we're doing and what you can do. You can communicate with us through any medium. Just give us the information, and we, together with you, will save lives.
Yes. So for the public, you said we can get involved, and I know lots of times, especially in the communities where people see lots of cars and lots of activity, probably in a house, you suspect something is happening. What's the hotline? Is it 999? Should they call their local police station, or is there a particular line they could call if they suspect it is indeed human trafficking?
Jason, the Counter-Trafficking Unit has a hotline, and that hotline is 800-4CTU. We have also adopted a cell phone hotline, and that's 702-0467. And I am saying that we need to communicate with one another. Fighting this scourge is a team effort. It's a team effort, Jason.
Mm-hmm. For the workers, more so the laborers who might be working under the books, under the table, if for any reason the documents, if anybody's documents they do have access to the documents. Someone is holding on to them, holding on to documents. That in itself is problematic, yes? That is also considered trafficking?
But that is not considered trafficking. It's considered an ingredient that we could look at towards trafficking. So it does not stand alone. Holding of documents will not stand alone, right? So as I explained, we have different types of exploitation. So I want persons to, of course, understand that forced labor is a form of exploitation, and the components for forced labor would be us determining an act. They're being recruited, they're being harbored, they're being transported. A means, if it's being done by force, by coercion, by threat, whether or not those two components in the front there, at the end of it, it is forced labor. And those are the things. So when you talk about the keeping of the passport, that might be some measure of coercion or threat.
Okay.
But we still need to find the act, and then, of course, we'll be able to adopt each component together and look at a trafficking in persons matter.
Understood. Dean Marie, we're going to wrap things up. What's the number again, the hotline to call?
Hotline 800-4CTU. That's 800-4288.
Dean Marie, to you and the hard-working team, keep it up, stick with it. I'm happy what I'm seeing via the news cycle. You're all making some breakthroughs. We saw that in Cunupia, we saw it in Rio Claro. Just stay on the ball, and let's keep.
Based on permit me an opportunity to commend my team, my very dedicated team of officers at the Counter-Trafficking Unit. You know yourselves, administrative staff, comm staff, and of course, the team. Thank you so much for your dedication and commitment to Trinidad and Tobago, and we'll continue to do the work.
Dean Marie Marshall, Deputy Director, Counter-Trafficking Unit under the Ministry. All the best.
Thank you so much, Jason.
You're most welcome. Very important conversation. So you see, there are different distinctions, and I guess it's really when law enforcement, they go on the beat, they put down their particular exercise, and the arrests are made, then they will have to determine via law if this is trafficking, if this is exploitation.